Oh my gosh. All right, now people can come in and join us. Oh my goodness, I thought I had hit start and I was just talking and there was nobody in here with us. Okay. All right, we're just getting everything set up on the back end. Gonna go live on Facebook here. We are recording. You can enable transcripts if you need them, all the things. So let's just get this going here. Welcome, welcome everyone. Feel free to let us know where you are coming in from. As usual, our normal warm-up question. We love to see where everybody is joining us from. And we are going live on Facebook. Okay, yay, here we go.
I think this is the first time I've ever been on Facebook Live.
Really? Wow. That's so surprising. Well, yay, first time for everything. All right, cool. Okay, well, everyone, we are going to go ahead and kick this off and get going. We've got people coming in from all over the place. North Carolina, lots of North Carolina, Indiana, New York. We've got some California. We usually have a few Canadians. I know it is end of June. We've got a Hawaii represented all over the place. It is the end of June, so I know some of y'all are taking a break. I'm actually on vacation right now as we speak with my kids, but I'm running webinars from with a lovely, lovely view. So that's a good thing. We are going to get in here and get going in just a second. I want to go over all of our little housekeeping things first. First of all, this is being recorded. I can see that it's also live on Facebook. The replay will go on the Write Publish Sell YouTube channel. So that will be the first place it will be available, but we will also be sending out a replay email to everyone who registered that will include a link to the slides and any key information that we go over, links and all those types of things from this presentation. And, we try to get them out same day, but it may be, we ask for at least 24 hours before people start emailing. You can always go to YouTube to look for it or the Facebook page. If you have questions in the webinar, first, I want to give a disclaimer. While Bailey is here from IngramSpark, we are here to talk about using data to consumer data to inform your marketing. We're not here today to talk about how to load your book to IngramSpark. We're not here today to talk about any technical issues that you may have, any of those types of things. However, we will provide a customer support email if you have any of those types of questions. And Bailey did say, if you are specifically having an issue that you cannot seem to work through, you can put it in the chat box. We will not be answering those today, but what I'm going to do afterwards is I'm going to send over, and she'll give a little more information on that, but we'll send the chat to her so that they can try and troubleshoot any of that stuff. So again, let me go ahead and put the captions on. Please use the Q&A box for questions that are directly relevant to Bailey's topic today. We want to keep it. We want to keep to the topic at hand as much as we can, because this is going to be a great and enlightening webinar on marketing. So let me tell you about Bailey. First of all, she's a really cool chick who I've had the pleasure and honor of meeting in person twice now at PubU. So always enjoy hanging out with the IngramSpark folks at conferences. But Bailey started her career at Ingram in the customer service department in 2014 and quickly moved into a sales position working with indie publishers. So in this role, she educates and assists mid-sized publishers in how to best utilize Ingram's print-on-demand, digital, and global distribution services to maximize their revenue. She's also led efforts to build programs and services specifically designed for independent publishers. So while in the marketing as part of the publisher engagement team, she works to find new and better ways to communicate and interact with all publishers regardless of size or model, focusing on the customer experience. She designed publisher-facing training, education, and events, and worked with internal product teams to build products and services that our publishers need and want. So she's led programs focused on providing professional services to authors and publishers. And now as senior manager of sales and business development, her focus is on supporting the success of independent and authors throughout IngramSpark. She has a bachelor's of art in English literature and graduated in August 2020 with her MBA from the Jones College of Business. So lots of knowledge and background here. And we have a wide variety of attendees in our audience, from people who are new and beginner authors all the way to people who are publishers with their own publishing company. So it's a wide array to try and cover and fit into, but I'm very excited to hand over the reins to you and learn all about this topic from you. So if you don't have anything you need from me, I'm going to mute myself and turn off my camera, and obviously thank IngramSpark so much for being a sponsor of our conference and supporting us and getting out education and awareness into the, to authors and publishers across the board. So thank you for all of this.
Thank you. Excited to be here. So I have a lot of really great information to share with all of you today around consumer data and ways that you can find that consumer data and use that consumer data on any kind of budget. So I'm going to share my screen, and I've got a fun little presentation that we're going to walk through. As Alexa shared, most of what we're going to be talking about today are around marketing and, utilizing consumer data. If you have any specific IngramSpark technical questions, please include in the chat your first and last name, your IngramSpark account number, and an email address. I'd be more than happy to help make sure that someone reaches out to you from our support team to help push that along. But what we do have today is a lot of information around using online data and analyses to help grow your business. So for today's objectives, what I hope that you all go away with is an understanding of what consumer data is and how it can help you and be useful to you. I hope that you are able to walk away with 3 tools relevant to you, and then help position you to think more strategically about your consumer's journey and the virtuous circle of marketing. So what is consumer data? A very, very high level definition is that it is the information trail that customers leave behind as a result. And my slides are automatically transitioning, so I apologize for that. I don't know why they're doing that. That they leave behind as a result of their internet use. So this can be personal information from your social media engagement, marketing campaigns that you've clicked on Google, anything that you've engaged with in communications, your purchasing history, your browsing data. Consumer data is a really large, broad topic, but what it really is it allows you to understand more about who's engaging with what, where, and when. So an example of consumer data, and it is going to go ahead and auto transition, and I'm just going to swing right back to it. That's okay. An example of consumer data would be that it's understanding that your audience, the age group is from 14 to 24, and that they spend time watching videos that last 60 seconds or less. So they like shorter videos. They're only reading articles supported by influencers on Twitter and Instagram. And they search for things that they want to purchase with the word trendy or new or near me. It also means understanding that they engage with text versus image more. So maybe it means that they ignore things that don't have any kind of visual graphic. Maybe they are engaging more with posts that are feedback oriented. And then they also, maybe they respond to competitions and giveaways and things like that. So consumer data can mean a lot of different things here. But why does that matter? So why do we care if someone engages with a certain Instagram post but not a certain Twitter post? Why do we care about baking that into our life as content creators and publishers and authors? Simply put, it's because the entire globe cares. And whenever you think about the marketing of tomorrow, it includes understanding how you can use data, not just to market, but to market effectively to your audience. So just some really high level numbers. As of January 2023, the world of internet accessibility and mobile usage and social media engagement has grown insanely over the last number of years. So in 2022, we had an additional growth of 67 million people, according to this study. In terms of unique mobile phone users, we had an additional 3.2% of our population engage with mobile phones. That's an extra 168 million people. And the real key here on this slide that I'm going to spend time really kind of hitting home is social media users. An extra 137 million people started using social media last year. Why does that matter in terms of marketing? Because those same people who are on social media are also buying things online. So 4.1 billion people purchased a consumer good on an online channel in 2022. The annual spend is estimated for online consumption around $3.6 trillion. The average person spends about $873 on online purchasing. So really what this is meant to do is really communicate to you that people aren't just going to physical stores to buy things. They are online purchasing things on a .com, but they're also being influenced by online presences and ads and targeted marketing. The average time spent using the internet, 6 hours and 37 minutes. People tend to watch around 3.5 hours of television. But the part that matters here, whenever we're going to talk about how you can implement the things we're going to talk about today, 2.5 hours a day people spend on social media, 2.5 whole hours. That's a lot of time, and that's a lot of opportunity for you to expose your content to the right people. So the challenge then becomes, how do I know who are the right people? Where are they? When should I be talking to them? What should I be talking to them about? And that's what we're going to cover today. But the first thing we need to talk about is the consumer journey. Anyone who's bought something very rarely would say that they just said, oh, I just happened to buy this thing. It's never that simple. The customer journey is, more simply put, in 4 steps. The process through which someone becomes aware of a product. The next step of that consumer journey is when they become interested in that product. Then they have to make that decision. Do I want to purchase that product? Do I want to follow that author? Do I want to hit that like button? And then retaining that engagement. So retaining that audience member, retaining that sale, getting those return customers. It's never as simple as, oh, I just need to sell a book. I need to put it up for sale. It is never that simple. You want to think about the consumer journey in these 4 steps. So first, it's making them aware of your product. I would be surprised if anyone has ever gone to a movie theater and just gone up to the ticket counter and said, I don't care, just sell me a ticket. I don't care what movie it is. Whenever you go to a movie theater, it is because you've seen a preview, you have an interest, you've made the decision to purchase that ticket. And then whenever you like that movie, you pay attention for the sequels or other movies by that same director. We are in the entertainment industry whenever you think about the way that we are creating that content. So it really is critical that you don't think about how you sell a book by just putting it up and available for sale. It is an entire journey for your consumer to become aware of, interested in, make that decision to purchase, and in some cases, leave a review or buy that second edition or that sequel. So let's talk about how you will identify your customers. So each of you, some of you might be in traditional, fiction publishing. Some of you might be in nonfiction education. You'll have different audiences. You might have a little bit of overlap, but you'll want to speak to them differently. So one of the first things that you should do whenever trying to understand who your consumers are and what kind of data you need are age. Is there a specific age range that you think will engage with your content? Is it location specific? If you write trade fiction that's set on a beach, is it trade fiction set in the mountains? Not just, oh, it's East Coast, West Coast, but think about the location. I'm just aging myself right now. Gen X, you're probably going to want to spend some more time on Facebook or Twitter, because that's where those demographics land differently across social media. Where do they spend their time? Do they spend their time on social media, or do they spend their time reading the news? Do they spend their time doing research? Is it on Google or is it on social media? Where are they spending their time? Because that's where you want to place your marketing efforts. And what content and media are they most likely to interact with? So younger kids are not likely to interact with a huge text-based post. They're going to watch a video or a GIF. Whereas your older audiences will be more likely to engage with more text-based content. So I've thrown a lot at you already. We've talked about a lot of information already, and you're saying, that's great. I understand consumer data now. How do I get to it? So we're going to talk about some tools on how you can gather that data on your existing audience. So Google Trends, this is a free tool. You can go to google.com/trends right now. And you are able to search by keywords or topics. So for any of you, a directly actionable thing that you can do today, any of you that already have a book that you've started to write or that you've written, take your keywords or take some like key phrases from your description and drop them into Google Trends to see what time of year the population is searching for that content more, and think about doing marketing around that time of year. So if you have a keyword that you drop into Google Trends and you see that it particularly spikes in the fall or the winter, that's when you want to think about the timing of your marketing efforts and your marketing investment. So one of the first thing that you'll notice here is that you have the ability to see, overall trends. And in this particular case, I used the term beach read. We just recently did a beach read campaign over at IngramSpark. And so we dropped that in there, and you can see, that's kind of more of a gimme, but there are times of the year where it is more searched, a more searched term. You can also see it over multiple years, year over year. You can see it compared to other terms. So you can do a beach read and a romance novel search. You could do an easy read. So this is one tool that will allow you to understand how popular those terms are, and if there is a time of year that you would be best to make advertising decisions based on those keywords. Again, completely free tool to use. If you do anything today, go play around with Google Trends, drop your keywords in there and use that to tell you, is there a particular time that I should be marketing and investing in search ads or things like that for your book? Amazon also has some really cool tools around campaigns that you can do. I'll also be dropping in those auto transitions. I'll be dropping in a little tool that we've been developing at Ingram, but overall Amazon campaigns, it lets you know how well your ad spend has done. It lets you kind of decide how much money you want to spend on it, but it really depends on your daily budget here. And as we all know, Amazon represents a large portion of the book buying market. It also represents a large portion of the SEO that consumers do. So Amazon actually is a really great search engine. You can go Google things that, not Google, obviously not Google them, but you can go search for things. And Amazon is as much a consumer website as it is a search engine. So definitely Amazon campaigns are a great way if you are focusing on Amazon sales, but you get to set your budget. So it could be $10 a day or it could be $100 a day. That is completely up to you. One thing that I want to talk about is another place for you to get free content. Another homework assignment, another piece of advice that I always give when talking about this topic. If you don't already today, one of the first things you should do today, whenever you get a free spare moment, is make sure that your social media accounts where you're expecting to drive demand for your books is a business account. Whenever you have a business account, It's not just that you're posting an ad or a book trailer or, you know, a hook for your book. You're also going to be able to gather data on who's engaging with that. So whenever you have a Facebook business account, what you're able to do is not just make your posts, but you can understand with your audience that's engaging with that content, what's the split between men and women? What's the split on age group? So, you know, in this particular case, this example, for this particular topic, it is a largely female audience. They are probably more in the 25 to 45 age range, and they're all based out of Texas. You can also see in some cases the ability to place an ad. If you wanted to say, okay, that's great, I'm going to click on this and place an ad specifically to this group, you can target that to the very specific demographic that is engaging with your content. That is where fees will come in play, but creating a business account is completely free, and you're able to take that and you'll be able to start building that pyramid of consumer data that you know about your audience. So if Facebook is one place that you spend a lot of time promoting your book, promoting your brand, if you don't already have a business account, you need to go do that right now so that every time you make a post or you interact on that platform, you get to see part of your audience consumer data that helps inform your marketing strategy. Twitter is another one that is absolutely super, super helpful in terms of providing you demographic data on your audience. Again, free to make a business account. Please go do it. If you are active on Twitter and you are trying to sell your book, go make a business account. Even if not all of your posts are about your book, which they shouldn't be, which we'll get to later. But if you have a Twitter account where you are expecting to be reaching your audience who buys your book, make sure it's a business account, because it gives you demographics like you're seeing here on the right side of the page, where you'll be able to see for your audience. In this particular case, I did the topic of dogs, their language in English, online buyers, and you can see where the demand sits within each topic. So they like dogs, but they also like music festivals and concert. They also like tech news. They also like comedy, movies, and television. So that tells me that if I want to improve my audience engagement, maybe I'll start making a few non-salesy posts about these other topics whenever I look at my audience. One of the cool but also kind of scary things about this data is you can also understand the average household income of your audience. So how price sensitive are your clients going to be? Maybe whenever you go to Google Trends and you see, okay, I should make this post in the fall, but also maybe if they might be more price sensitive, do it when it's on sale and talk about how if they buy one, they get one half off. Maybe if you talk about if they go follow you on your newsletter, you'll get a 10% coupon code if they buy it directly from you. Things like that are really helpful in understanding not just when or where, but how to package your advertising. So having that information is really helpful. Again, it's free with a business account. So if you haven't done it, go do it. Instagram. Instagram is one of the more visual places. So, you know, whenever we talk about Instagram, it's not so much about text-based content, but visual engagement. So Instagram has a really cool function where it not only allows you to understand the gender split of your accounts and the age range, but also the time of day and day of week when people are engaging with your posts more. So Instagram has 1.2 billion monthly active users. So it's hard if you were to say, oh, I'm just going to go market on Instagram. That's a wide net to cast, and the net is not sewn very tightly. So you're not going to catch a lot of fish. But if you have the ability to know that whenever I post on Instagram, if I post it on a Monday after 7 o'clock, which is what this bottom left chart is showing you, I'm more likely to have engagement with that post than if I were to do it Monday at 3 o'clock. You might even be able to find out, okay, actually Mondays are horrible for my audience. Thursdays are better. So this allows you, again, free consumer data on the people that are already interested in you and your brand. Simple as having that account, that business account, you go in and you look at the overall general data, and that helps you understand, okay, well, if I post it right now, I'm going to have a better return on my time, especially if you paid for it. Posting it based on when your followers are more active is really critical to making sure that you get that return on investment. And again, this is all data that you don't have to go get. Like, you don't have to do all of this analysis. These platforms do it for you. And TikTok. I could talk about TikTok for hours, but I will only talk about it for a few minutes today. TikTok, 1.7 billion monthly viewers. TikTok, you probably have heard about it. You've heard your friends talk about it. You've heard your cousins talk about it. You know, everyone's talking about TikTok. And the reason being is because it is becoming one of the largest influential forces, especially within the book community, for consumer behavior. With 1.7 billion monthly users, having a presence on TikTok, especially the book talk community. So if you haven't heard of book talk, it is the largest sub community within TikTok. They have, I want to say it was 42 billion annual views. So it is the largest community. And one of the coolest things about your book talk community is that the community of book buyers on TikTok, the demographics are almost identical in terms of stats, in almost identical to those people who are buying physical books. So what you really have here is a dedicated, curated list that it didn't have to work for, of people who don't only like reading, they like paying for new editions and special editions and new releases, and then they love to talk about it to their community. So having a TikTok account, posting regularly, allows you to understand, similar to Instagram, the most popular times of day, the most popular days, but also how they're actually getting to your post. Was it on their For You page? Are they already following you? Or did someone redirect them over there? You'll also get an average watch time. So your average watch time means, on average, people move on after this number of seconds. So in this particular case, at a 10.2 average watch time, I'm not going to make a 30-second long TikTok. I'm going to make a 10-second long TikTok. I'm definitely, you know, I'm not seeing enough traffic from my For You page. So how do I do hashtags? How do I improve my saturation there? But you really have, you have to engage in terms of creating content, because if you only have a TikTok account, and you don't have followers and you're not posting content, you won't have access to this data. So it really is one of the most influential areas in terms of the book business right now, where not only can you, for a free business account at TikTok, get access to free consumer data, but also access the most active book buying community on the planet. One stat that's really great, especially whenever we think about, you know, today's readers are tomorrow's book buyers. So whenever we think about the people who, the generation now that is going to start going and getting jobs and buying their own things and spending their own adult money, one really cool thing is that on TikTok, whenever they surveyed the Gen Z audience, 80% of Gen Z users of TikTok said that they use the app to validate a purchase, which means whenever they are saying, okay, especially like whenever we're talking about books, whenever they're saying, okay, do I want to buy this book? They are going here to look up reviews and testimonials of that book before they purchase it. So they're using this as a tool to validate their purchasing decision. You can advertise here, you can pay to promote your posts. But if you haven't gotten started on this one, I would definitely recommend just start making some fun videos and see what kind of saturation you're getting. Where is your audience? Are they more active on this day? Are they more active on that day? What other types of content are they interested in? And use that to start developing that audience that you have, for simply the cost of your time. So, Alexa, I'm going to take a be to see if there are any pressing questions. I can't see the chat because I'm sharing my screen, but are there any pressing questions that need to be addressed right now?
No,
Before,
I've been answering them in the chat, and a lot of them are on social media questions, like how to set up their Facebook page and how to do different things. So I've just been answering those
got it.
as I got them. But no, I don't see anything else
Okay.
at this point.
Cool. So we've talked about a lot of the platforms where you can get free consumer data, what kind of free consumer data that you can get, but there are a few other tools that you can use to really think more critically about the consumer data that you have. The first is one that I'm going to talk to you about called Suvel. You'll notice here that there's a lot going on these pages. That's because there's a lot going on the internet. What Suvel does, and you'll see I use the search term here, dogs. Very simple. I would recommend doing the same thing with your keywords. And what Suvel does is tells you on Google, these are the top 10 ways that people are searching for the phrase dogs. What do you do with that? You take that and you use it to help inform your keywords and your description so that you improve discoverability. You also see how people are looking up videos on YouTube on dogs. So think about how a tool like Suvel, which is free, take your keywords, drop them in, and see how people are actively searching for that content today and what kind of phrases that they're using to find the content that they're looking for. Answer the Public, kind of similar to Suvel in that you can drop in a term or a phrase, but what it actually does is it tells you, so in the case of music festivals, what it tells you is how people are searching it with the phrase are, will, can, where, which, what. So this is, again, another great tool to help you improve your keywords and your description, because people are asking what music festivals are coming up, what music festivals are in London. And this is something that helps you understand this is the most searched content for this topic. And so again, if you want to make sure that you aren't just writing your book, but you're getting it out into a broader audience, when you think about marketing, think about how you can tie these words into your strategy so that you're reaching an audience of people that are already trying to find content that you're trying to get in front of them. Goodreads is another great option for comping your title. So one thing that you want to do is think about, okay, if you know that your audience really likes, I'm going to just pick on one over here, The Hunger Games. Goodreads is a great place to go to see how other people are talking about that book. And so if you want to say for lovers of the Hunger Games series, that's great. Another thing that you can do is go look at the reviews that people are leaving on these book profiles on Goodreads and use their reviews, the way that the actual readers are talking about the book, and use that to help inform your marketing, your metadata, and the way that you approach how to spend money on advertising. Because if you're trying to reach the same audience that likes the Hunger Games, use your marketing strategy to align with the way that they're talking about the Hunger Games, and use that same approach for your metadata as well. Goodreads also can help you understand how people are engaging with certain books. So in the top right, you'll notice that The Book Thief, you'll notice that people added it to their library. There you see that spike there. They added it to their to read list at a certain spike. So if you have books that you know are similar to other books, come to Goodreads and look at their trending ads and to be reads and reviews over time, and think about how, if it's seasonal, releasing or doing advertising based on the trends on the Goodreads timeline as well. So with Google Trends, you know, we could do dogs, but it's looking at everything about dogs, whereas Goodreads is a very focused set of data built around people who are actively engaging with books and book content. One thing that we'll talk a little bit about is just the idea around what should I actually be saying. So if I'm going to be posting on social media, I've used these tools to understand that my audience really likes dogs. They are active on Tuesdays after 4 p.m. And they have a tendency to, maybe read articles that are 300 words or less. What you might ask yourself is, okay, well, then what do I talk to them about? If you are using social media to promote your content, there's a pretty basic rule in marketing that says 80-20. It's an 80-20 rule. 80% of your posts should be about things that should engage your audience. 20% of your posts should be about trying to sell your stuff. So whenever you think about your first 10 posts, 8 of them should be just about stuff that they care about. Your audience cares. In this particular case, I'm a dog person. If you haven't picked up on that, because I'm talking about dogs, and dogs are the ones that I used in all these examples. What you can do is go to this place called Right Relevance and use the word dogs and go find something, an article or a blog or a TikTok that is super trending right now, and use that in your post, because what that's doing, it might not be talking about your book that you're trying to sell, but what it is doing is engaging an audience that might like it and share it or comment on it or tag someone else in it, growing your audience for whenever you do make that post about buying your book. You've done 2 things. You've engaged with them in a way that they've said, oh, I like this brand. I like this person. And you've developed trust. So they're more likely to buy if they think that what they're buying is also reflective of their own personal beliefs, their own personal likes. So having that 80-20 rule is important, and Right Relevance will help you figure out, okay, what can I talk about today that isn't about my book or an excerpt of chapter 1? This is a
Bailey, can you hear me? Can anyone else hear me? Okay, I think hey Bailey, I think you
yes.
froze. You was like, this is and then left us all in
Oh,
anticipation just a few
can you
minutes
hear me
ago.
now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay. Oh, sorry about that. I
It's been a couple minutes, so you might just want to back
Dang.
up a
Oh
teeny
no.
tiny bit.
Okay. Oh man, I was on a roll.
You
Um,
were on a roll. We were
I
all
was,
there in like great anticipation, and then
oh well, we'll pretend like it was designed that way.
yeah.
So Right Relevance, it's a really great tool for the 80-20 rule. The 80-20 rule of marketing is that 80% of your posts should be about something other than the product that you're trying to sell. And 20% of your posts should be about products that you're trying to sell. Some of us have a hard time coming up with content that isn't about what we're trying to sell, but it's really important to focus on that 80%, because by spending that time to bond and create a trust-filled relationship with your audience, whenever you do finally get around to making that post around what you want them to actually buy, they're more likely to convert if they've already seen you posting stuff that they like, that they know. So they say, oh, well, they've posted a lot of stuff that I've already liked. And if I buy this book, I'll like it because of the other stuff that they posted. It aligns with the things that I like and my values. So whenever you think about, okay, you've used the tools we've already talked about to determine a day to post, a time to post, what platform to post on. But you're saying, all right, well, I've already done my 20% trying to sell my book. It's time to focus on something else. Right Relevance is a great free tool where you can go in and for the purpose of this particular example, I searched for dogs. And if I have a book about dogs and I know that my audience is people who love dogs, but I don't want to talk about selling my book today because it's more about growing my audience, I would come here and I would use the smiling dogs and I would go use that to post. So it's a really great free tool to help you with that 80 part of the 80-20 rule. This is, and we're going to be sharing these slides afterwards. These are some more free tools to help you inform your marketing, to help you inform your metadata. And they're really easy to go in and play with. Some of them are Google Chrome extensions. Some of them are just cool websites that you can go check out, but it allows you to really understand the best way to utilize keywords, things that you might want to work into your description. And then whenever you think about doing paid ads, the keywords that you want to invest in there as well. And if you're saying, which some of us might be, this is a lot, and I really don't want to deal with all of this. This is a lot of information. Fortunately, there is a great tool. What we have here is the ability to market to known book readers. So we've already talked about how it's really important to know they really like the classics. They like contemporary YA. But what we also want to make sure that we know is that there are people who have and will continue to spend money on books, whether it's an ebook or an audiobook or physical book, paperback, hardcover, whatever it is. So that's one thing that really becomes important, isn't just marketing to people who like dogs. It's marketing to people who like dogs and buy books about dogs. So this is one tool that helps make it a lot easier for you to tackle. It is one that is a paid, so it's based on whatever budget you have. You could spend $5 or you could spend $500. But what you would know is that $5 of ad spend is going to people not just who like dogs, but who like books about dogs and buy books about dogs. It helps you access Facebook marketing, Google marketing, and Amazon advertising. 50 audiences that help cover your bases, with more growing every day. So if you have a book that you wanted to market to people who buy books about fairy tales and also health and fitness, this kind of takes the guesswork out for you. It's always great to do it yourself and have your hands on that data, but if you have less time and you need some help managing that, these are 50 audiences and millions of verified readers that you can get access to through one platform where you can market to Google, Facebook, and Amazon. You also have opportunities to market to those direct consumers on a few different verticals. So Bookfinity, Shelf Savvy, Page and Pairing. My particular favorite is Little Infinite. It has a very niche poetry community. But there are tools out there that say, you know, hey, you can maybe what you decide to do is, okay, I'll manage my own TikTok advertising, but I need help doing everything else. There are tools out there that help you do it. They're not very, they're not free, but they do have a lot of flexibility. So, you know, if you decided, all right, I want to manage one thing, but I need help managing everything else, there are tools out there that let you do that. Ingram ID is one of them. So let's pull it all together. Let's say we've talked a lot about what consumer data is. We've talked about where to find it. We've talked about what it's going to cost you. But what now? So a lot of information. What can I walk away with and do now? Which is what I just said. I should have moved over to this slide. That auto transition would have done me a favor just now. Using the data, using the data that you're collecting through these sites, or, you know, other ones that you might know about. At the end of the day, there are 4 things that you need to ask yourself. What is my consumer data telling me about where, who my audience is, what it is that they want to engage with, when, and what platform? So your audience, your message, your time, and your place. Those are your 4 things that you want to be asking your consumer data from your business accounts, or maybe you purchased some data. Those are the 4 things you need to be able to start off answering. So first, audience. Use tools like Ingram ID, like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, to determine your age, where they live, what their interests are. Do they have spending sensitivities? Do they have shopping habits that you can take advantage of? Determine your message with tools like Right Relevance and Answer the Public and Suvel, all free, so that you can create a message that relates to your audience, that answers the questions that they have that they don't really know that they have, and then helps them discover new things. Make sure that if it's on Instagram, use visual content. If it's Twitter, it can be more text-based. If it's Facebook, it can be a both and situation. And obviously TikTok is all visual media graphic. Time. So we've talked about audience, we've talked about message. The next thing that free consumer data can tell you, as we've discussed, is that things like Instagram and Google Trends and TikTok can tell you what time of day to post your messages, what day of the week to post your messages, and especially in the vein of Google Trends,
Yeah, I
Google
see it.
Trends.
Oh, sorry. And
Oh, you're good.
it froze right as you said, especially in the vein of Google Trends.
Especially in the vein,
Dot.
yeah, and especially in the vein of Google Trends. Whenever you think about seasonality, so if you have a book about the holidays, you go to Google Trends and you do a few search terms that are in your keywords. If it's about the holidays, most likely you're not going to see that spike in search material in July. You're going to see that search, really kind of start spiking up near the end of the year. So whenever you think about time of day, time of week, also think about time of year. If you have content around family topics, family themes, maybe look and see if they spike around, parental holidays or other things, appreciation holidays, appreciation months, things like that. So don't focus just on day and time of day. Also look at when in the time of year it's going to be the best return for your investment in either time and or money. And place. So there are a lot of different platforms that you can post on. One of the great things about Facebook and Instagram is that they're owned by the same company. So if you make a post on Instagram, you can also just knock Facebook out, two birds, one stone style. But what you really want to do is make sure that you're focusing on the platform where your audience spends most of their time. So if you've got an audience that is mostly a Twitter audience, don't spend too much time on Instagram and Facebook. Spend your time on Twitter. If you've got an audience that is, Gen Z, don't spend your time on Facebook. Spend it on Instagram and TikTok. You want to make sure that because your time is money too. So even if you are doing free advertising, you're spending your time. So make sure that you're getting the best return on your time, and if you're investing money on it, by getting your money's worth by focusing on the right platform. If you want to do a short text promotion, Twitter's great. If you want to do a fun video and photo contest, Instagram or TikTok are going to be where you need to focus. So we've talked about audience, message, time, and place. You're going to have a learning curve. So you're going to have a lot of consumer data, and the consumer behavior is going to change over time. But what you ultimately need to do is identify who your demographic is, who your consumer data is telling you cares, where they care, when they care, why they care. Start informing that into your marketing. So target your marketing. If you've got an audience that really cares about dogs, maybe don't not talk about cats. Everyone loves a good cat video, but maybe do a cute dog video. Use that to make a very targeted approach to your audience. Roll out that marketing, measure the success, adjust, and repeat. Marketing is never a finished cycle. If you stop marketing, then you will stop selling books. You have to make sure that you are continuing to iterate and continuing to monitor that consumer data, so that, maybe this year you've got an audience that's 24 to 45, but 2 years from now, that age group, it might either stay the same and you're getting a new group of young readers coming in, or maybe you follow that age group and you cater your content or your marketing that way. So definitely, make sure that you understand, give yourself some grace in this. You're going to start one circle and you're going to learn and adjust. Some things will work better than others, but the key there is knowing why, and ways that you can improve that. And you can't understand why or ways to improve that if you aren't looking at your consumer data. If you're just throwing a bunch of posts out there and you don't have data to tell you, oh, you posted this on this day, but they're really more active on this other day, then you're not going to get as much back on that. I've included in this document that you'll be getting a few links to a few really helpful resources for the virtuous circle. I won't, open these and go through them because I do want to leave time for questions, but there will be included in the file that you will get after the webinar, but some tools to help you understand, and map out where you might want to do that. And I think, yeah, that is it for me,
Can
Alexa.
you go back to that slide one more time, please, just to make
Yes.
sure everybody has it? So, oh, okay, I'm sorry. I thought I saw a link on there. There's no link on there.
No, it'll be linked in the follow-up file.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So there were a lot of questions that we got throughout on different things. One of them was, I went ahead and answered a couple of them. One of them was why you don't include information on Publisher Rocket. So it's okay with you, just a point of clarification, like when you've been talking about keywords and data in this presentation, it's not the same type of keywords and categories that we're talking about necessarily for making sure that your book is ranking high on a sales page. It's the keywords that people are using in discussions and topics to be able to use that for building conversation around our marketing as authors. So that's what I told her why that wasn't included here on that.
Yep.
There's one question Yvette wants to know what first party data is.
First party data. Oh, gracious. So first party data is what is gathered directly about your consumers. So, if you were to go and like purchase data from someone, you're buying data that they collected. It's hard to kind of encapsulate. So it's really like it's the data about the person making the purchasing decision. So it's like the actual person who is your actual end target, not, multiple levels up.
Perfect. Okay, then does this all apply to YouTube as well?
Yes. Oh gosh, yes. Okay. So YouTube is one I didn't touch on. But it does apply to YouTube. So YouTube is it also acts similarly to a search engine. So definitely if you have an account in YouTube, make sure that you're tracking those metrics as well. I didn't include YouTube. I don't have as much of a specialty in YouTube, but it definitely applies.
Same kind of concept. You see what kind of information people are looking for, but instead of it being a blog posts or whatever, Facebook post or Twitter, you're just creating content via video, and video is highly, 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 highly watched. So yes, if you want to do YouTube, I highly encourage that for connecting with your audience, especially children's book authors, for reading books and things of that nature. Yes, and thank you, Hannah. Google Trends also allows you to see the YouTube data. But it's such a great conversation just around, when it comes to marketing, people get stuck on how to market, what to talk about, where to go, how to know what people are looking for. And really using this consumer data is the information that helps you understand what people are talking about, what people are interested in, how it pertains to what your books are about and what you're talking about, and then how to get involved really in those conversations, and also who's having them. Because as you're doing your research, you come across accounts, you come across people, you come across other books, you come across all kinds of other things that can really be helpful. So really, really great information. I don't know if you can see the chat right now, but you're getting lots and lots of accolades in there. SEMrush, yes, that's a great tool for
SEMrush is a great tool too. Yeah.
Okay, how effective is Twitter for building author platforms compared to Facebook, Insta, and TikTok? I don't know if that's something you want to get into. I haven't heard as much around it as I have the other platforms.
It depends on the audience. So that kind of comes back to like the place. So it depends on who your demographics are. So, my recommendation would be, start small, start with one, pick one, and learn from the posts that you do make. But TikTok, not TikTok, Twitter. Gosh, I've got TikTok on the brain. Twitter, it'll really be based on your audience, your age group, what kind of information there. So like I haven't used Twitter in years. My husband is on it every day looking at
Yeah,
sports news.
yeah.
You have something regarding sports or like
Politics
politics,
or
business,
weird conspircy theories. There's a whole lot
really
of people with
weird.
their conspiracy theories on TikTok. I mean, Twitter.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that
So
too.
like it's very specific to your audience
Yeah.
for Twitter. So that just comes down again to having that consumer data and knowing where they're most active.
And Rachel, you can look up hashtags on any of these accounts. You can look up you can use words like phrases, keywords as hashtags and see like what it's pulling back. And that gives you a good idea too, because if you type in a hashtag and it's trending or there's a lot of people talking about that topic, that's a good place for your audience. But yeah, I love that advice though, to just pick one because it can get so overwhelming and, really hone in on there and ask I mean, if you know your ideal reader, some of this stuff should eventually become pretty obvious. You see where people are posting about things, how they're posting about things, what they're talking about them, where they're being followed. Instagram is still a great place for book reviewers in most places, but sometimes it's more about the conversation people are building than it is
Yep.
actually marketing specifically. So,
Yep.
okay. Great discussion. Thank you so much. Thank you again to IngramSpark for sponsoring the 2023 conference. I had to remember what year we were in for a minute there. And I did get a couple of I got one message from somebody, so I'll send that one to you.
Perfect.
About the help and support. Any final things you want to say before we wrap this up?
Oh, final things. No, I mean, I think it's one topic that will continue to change and evolve. One of the best pieces of advice whenever it comes to this is lean on your community. There are so many great people in this community that can help you answer your questions, give you great tips, try something new. So, crowdsource your strategy. Sometimes it's good to ask people because I mean we're all book lovers, we're all book buyers.
Yeah.
So that's my kind of parting advice is like lean on your community too. It's a lot. The publishing industry is only getting bigger, which means it will only continue to grow and become probably a little bit more complicated. So lean on that community for sure.
All right. Well, thank you so much. This has been great. And I mean, I saw a couple of people asking in the chats about the replay and all that stuff. If you're not subscribed to Write, Publish, Sell on YouTube, youtube.com/Write, Publish, Sell, that is the first place that we load the videos. So head on over there and subscribe. It's also broadcast live on the Women in Publishing Facebook page, the Women in Publishing Summit Facebook page, and we'll send out the link to the replay to everyone who registered within 24 hours. That will include the slides and all of the great content that you provided and talked about. And yeah, so keep an eye out for your email and we will see everyone. Don't forget to head on over to womeninpublishingsummit.com/events to check out all of our upcoming webinars. We have a full schedule over the summer, so join us at one or all, and we will see you at the next one. Thanks again so much, Bailey. We appreciate you tremendously.
Bye all.
Bye.